I still remember your post about your sobriety, and I'm like,
Yeah.
way to go, Zach.
Thank you.
Way to go. That is
Yeah.
just a huge accomplishment. And I know you got lots of good friendly support
Yes, absolutely. And I
from
think at
that.
first you
So
get nervous to say those things out loud. You're like, judgment, but you free yourself
it's
too. Yeah.
true, right? It's
Mhm.
true. Yeah, it is. But we need to celebrate those wins. We need to
They're
celebrate
micro
them.
wins, but I'm able to do this today because of those wins. I needed that
Yeah.
break.
You need the break. And Bill and I, my husband, we like to do like 1% more today than we did
Mhm.
yesterday. So if that's like, if we're drinking a pot of coffee yesterday, so let's just drink like a cup less today. And that's a
Yeah.
1% win
Yeah,
for our bodies, that is. I don't know
exactly.
about the people around us, but for our bodies, it's a 1% win.
Yes, that's true. Gosh, although I don't know if I could go to zero coffee right now.
Okay, I'm going to tell you this because this is really funny. I went to my doctor a couple months ago and just like the normal checkup thing, and I'm like, listen, you're not going to make me like quit coffee, are you? Like, please don't take my coffee away. And he chuckles and he goes, nope. And he pulls up his really big cup from his desk. I'm not telling you to take coffee away. I'm pretty sure it's a food group.
Uh-huh. Well, we're gonna say it is, yes. One that's not gonna go away. Yeah.
That's not going to go away. Oh my goodness. I know some days are just that way, right? Like you just want to stick your head in a sink full of coffee.
Absolutely. So you were born in Calgary or how?
No, I was born in Grand Prairie, Alberta. Yeah, so Northern girl.
Yeah.
And that was it was fine. I didn't know anything different, but
Mm.
I always knew I wanted bigger city. I just knew that. It was just in me. I wanted more.
Mm.
Yeah. I just, some people, they grew up there. I still have classmates from high school and they're still there and they're thriving and they love it. And like, that's great for them. And they just knew that's where they wanted to be. Like, that was what was home to them, but it was never really home to me. As soon as I was able to graduate and leave, I did. And I've just been on an adventure, a journey from there. And it's been great. There are some things that I just had this conversation with somebody recently, and they were like, "Oh, there's lots of regrets." And I'm like, I don't think I regret the moments because they have helped shape me who I
Mhm.
am today, and they have been stepping stones to where I am today. If I could go over and do some things differently, maybe,
Of course.
perhaps I would. But then the outcome would be different. And would I be different? I would be different. And it's not all bad, but I don't want to, I don't always want to be looking in that rearview mirror.
No.
There's too much ahead of me,
Mhm.
and I want to learn from the past, and I want to grow from it, and I want to move forward and pass on what I've learned and encourage, inspire, and help change, my little corner of the world.
When you look back at life, how were you able to kind of determine that, hey, I shouldn't spend too much time in that rear view and look forward to life? Look at the present, enjoy this moment in time.
Yeah, I think sitting and dwelling is only good for a little time
Mhm.
to be able to process, to be able to say, this is where I should have done something different. I could have handled that different. I could have phrased my words differently. But to stay and sit in that is not healthy. It's not healthy. And I really choose joy and happiness. I really do. Not every day is filled with
Mhm.
joy. Not every day is a good day. But not days aren't bad. It's just the moments that are in the day that are bad.
And then you realize as time goes on how to deal with those things with the tools we have on our belt.
Yeah.
Thresholds or carpe diem, like seize the day. It's like, well, it's just not happening. So you know what? I got to take a step back instead of grinding through it. It's just not working.
Yeah, it's not working. We have to change something. So what is the change? How are we going to do that? We say that all the time. Because I work with my husband. We spend 98% of our time together,
Wow.
and I'm not exaggerating. We work together, we
Yes.
live together, we travel together. We do, I would say, half our meetings together. We do a lot together, and I think, we have to grow from each other, we have to learn from each other, and we have to be okay with just a few little changes,
Hmm.
right? We're not going to be the same, and we can't stay in the past. We really can't, because if change is going to happen, we have to move forward and we have to pivot. And I know pivot is such a overused word now, especially from COVID, but
Yeah,
I
it's true,
right? But
right?
I
Yeah.
think it is. But I think as an entrepreneur and a self-employed business owner, you have to learn to make adjustments. And really, like that's what a producer
Hmm.
does, is they have an obstacle that comes up and they go, okay, I have to fix this. How can I fix this?
Hmm.
How can I turn this around? How can I make this better? How can I make the people that these decisions are affecting, how can I make them feel like they're part of the process, they're with us, or it's just going to make them better to be able to do their job. And we're producers too, right? So
Yeah.
I'm not just in front of the camera. I do a lot behind the camera
Yeah.
too. So,
Well, I think it's you have to have creativity and you have to have this vision of adaptability, like quick thinking on your feet. Because something's going wrong in life or just anything. Yes, the word pivot because of the fork in the road, metaphorically. But how do we move
mm,
through it? Where did you learn that habit or that tool on your belt to say this is
oh
something I
my
can use?
goodness.
Was it from mom and dad? Was it living Grand Prairie? Was it just moving out of Grand Prairie to say, there's more for me in this world, from me personally?
I haven't really thought about that because I think I've just learned it. I moved out of Grand Prairie. I moved to Saskatchewan,
Mhm.
and then I moved back to BC, and then I moved to Toronto, and then from there I moved to South America, and then back to Toronto, and then to Calgary, then out to Okotoks. So I
That is
I
really
I don't
cool.
yeah, so I've done a lot
Yeah.
of moving. I've done a lot of adjusting. I've done a lot of change, and a lot for most of my life, I would say I welcomed change. Not that it was easy, but that I would welcome
Mhm.
change because I for who I am and how I'm created, I don't like 9 to 5. I don't like I can't think of the word, but I don't like doing the same thing over and over and over again. There's nothing wrong with doing that. I think about like an assembly line.
Mhm.
And you go to work and you do the same thing over and over again. And we need those people, and we need those hardworking people that are willing to do that. But that is not me.
It reminds me of that Lucille Ball with the chocolates at the conveyor belt.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah. Oh yes, exactly. But you're right. I
Yes.
think entrepreneurship's not for everyone. It's not always pretty. There, and this it's sometimes
Mm,
a very very stressful time. And
yeah.
people say, well, you can see it on Instagram, the highlight reels of how entrepreneurship is. Not
Mm.
That's not always the reality, right? There's these nights, days, and this. And I'm sure your husband Bill knows this as well. Is like it's not ever off your mind. There's always something you're thinking of.
Always.
You're somewhere and you're just like inspired, and you're like, maybe we can look at something like this, or hey, in this commercial, this is happening, or this show, this is what they're doing, and there's always certain things you're looking at.
You're looking at like the opening of a talk show and you're like, "Oh, I like how they did that." Oh, and then you're like, "I don't even know what show that was. I was just watching the technical part of it." Or we watch TV very differently now.
How did you get into media? Was that something you always knew you were going to do, or how did that happen?
I don't, it really started, I started modeling when I was young. I think I actually just found a picture, and I mean, I'm not here to, I wasn't going to show you, that wasn't the purpose, but oh, I don't have it. I was doing a
Oh,
family tree for
yes.
something. Um, I do have it because I found it. I was looking for something else and I found it, and it's me on the runway, and I'm in this little parka, and I am like, I don't know, 5 or 7 or something, and I loved it, and I loved it. And then I got into theater, and I loved working on stage. I loved the instant response of whether a joke landed well or it didn't, or the emotion. I loved that. And then, um, then I went out of, I just, I just changed direction and thought I wanted to go into counseling and to be a counselor. And um, there were some things that came up around that, and it just didn't seem like it was falling into place for me to do that. Um, and then I met my husband, and then we decided, let's move to Toronto. That's where he was working from through the summer. He's actually born and raised in South America, and he was born to a missionary family. So they were living there, and he came back here to school, and we met, and then he wanted to go back to South America and finish the job he had started when he graduated high school. And so I said, okay, because I was young and I didn't know any better. You don't know what you don't know. And that was an experience, a cross-cultural experience that I will never forget. And I don't take it for granted when we have people that move to Canada. It's very difficult. It's really difficult. But I wouldn't change any of that because I learned, and now I'm so empathetic
Yeah.
to people that are trying to adjust to the language, or how do you make an appointment with a doctor and all those kind of things. How do you drive? What are the rules? Everybody seems to know the rules that aren't in a book, that aren't actually in the rule book, but you're supposed to know it. So I do have empathy for that. I do understand that. Yeah, so then we moved to South America, and we finished that job that Bill wanted to finish up. And then we decided it was time to come back to Canada. We had started our family there in South America, and we had our second child in Ontario. And then over a course of a few years, all my family was out here, out west, and I just wanted to come back and be closer to my family. My parents were aging, and I wanted to be closer to them. And things were changing in Ontario, so we moved back to Calgary. And Bill worked in a company, in a computer company, co-owned that with another gentleman. And I was closer to the family and raising kids and homeschooling, and did kind of all these crazy things that I never thought I would grow up to do. And, you know, I have always loved TV. I've always loved movies. And so media has always kind of just been there, I kind of just put it on the shelf and didn't even know if it was ever going to come back to being useful. Then when the kids started graduating and leaving home, I'm like, now what do I
Now what?
do? Yeah, it's actually, I leaned against the sink, and I'm like, okay, God, now what? Like, what do I do now? Because all of a sudden, I wasn't needed as I was before. So, Bill and I, we started talking, and he's like, what would you want to do? And I'm like, I want to act. I want to get back into it. So I took some courses for about a year, and then through that, I met a director and a producer, and part of the assignment was to do like a short, although we didn't call it a short back then. So it would have been like a trailer or a teaser or something like
Like a
that. And I said,
pilot episode, or not even. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah. And I was like, well, I would really love to do a travel show, and I'd love to do it on Bolivia, where my husband's from. And I would like to showcase the beauty of the country, because at that time, the only thing that was trending out of Bolivia was something I wasn't excited about, I didn't like. And so I was like, why don't we do that? So we did. So I just packed up for 6 weeks and went down and filmed and put together a travel show. And then we came back and Bill and I edited that. And then we started from there. We did a car show. We produced a car show, which was really great.
I do
I
remember
loved
that
that
one.
show.
Yes.
Yeah, so I
Oh my
loved that
gosh, what
show.
was that called again?
Wheel Sharks.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so I loved that show. It was a very fun show and it was really different because we were behind the scenes. So it gave us really a great appreciation for both sides. And then I did some acting, had a couple of roles and did a few things and yeah, and then we just took a break. Then, we moved out to Okotoks and then COVID hit and our kids were getting married. And so there was a whole bunch of change happening. And we just really took a break from all that. And um, what ended up happening was TELUS and Story Hive put together it was their initial pilot grant thing program. And so I said, Bill, why don't we just apply? I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know what we're going to do, but why don't we just apply? And he's like, well, what do you want to do? So we brainstormed. So that was really, the start. We've always worked together, but that was really the moment where we just sat and started really brainstorming about what we wanted to do, what could that look like, and it was received so well that Story Hive asked us to apply again and do a second season, and so we did that. And that was received so well. And then we started gaining a bit of momentum. And so they said, you can only come back and apply once more because you're just getting beyond what this program is really set out for. And we're like, oh, okay.
Which is also a compliment, and then at the same time, you're like, well, we're also enjoying this. Yeah, can I?
I know. And they were so great to work with. They know that they can always call me and to the best of my ability, I will help them out because they were so great. They really held my hand coming back into the business and figuring it out and how to do things and really encouraging me. And so that was just really
Yeah.
such a game changer for me. And then we did a cooking show with them. And then that was the last we were able to do with Story Have Tell Us.
Jacqueline, just before we get going on that, what is Story Hive? Tell us for the listeners. And what was the shows that you guys were doing the first initial two seasons?
Oh yeah, great. I so Story Hive and Tell Us they work together and they have actually several different programs for different purposes, um, podcast, music, TV shows, media, and it's really to help those up and coming creators. And then there is a couple of programs that are above and beyond the amateur novice level. And so you apply and then, you work through the program with them. And that's what we did. And then it's like a grant, right? They give you a grant and it's really not, if you think you're going to get rich off of it, call me because I'm going to tell you you're not. But the experience is going to be priceless. And from there, our shows were called In the Jump Seat with Jacqueline and Grandma's Goodies with Jacqueline. And so two completely different types of shows. In the Jump Seat with Jacqueline was all about we went to businesses in Okotoks that were on the other side of COVID. Did they thrive or did they just survive? And let's talk about what that looks like for you. How did you have to pivot? How did you have to move around? Did you? Were you able to? There
Mm-hmm.
were some businesses that started during COVID, and I loved that. I'm like, really? Like you took a chance when everything was locked down. So that was really
Mm-hmm.
great. Like that really fit the narrative of what Story Hive and Tell Us were trying to do at the time. So it was great. Grandma's Goodies is a cooking show with grandmas, and I had just been new grandma at the time, and trying to embrace that whole grandma role was a little bit of a challenge for me. But it was so great to talk to these other seasoned grandmas that were down the road from me. They were ahead of me in the journey, and they came in and we actually filmed in our kitchen and we did their favorite recipes and we talked about their kids and why they do this and we just talked about being grandmas. So it was really great. It was received better than I thought it was going to be. I just always wanted to do a cooking show. And it's not because I like to cook. Not really. It's not a passion. Take me out. That's what I want to do. Take me out, not to the ball game, but take me out somewhere. Anyhow, so that's that.
I love that you live
That's
in Okotoks. It is so beautiful out there. Recently, I had seen old Okotoks, and
Mhm.
I was in awe of that place.
It's becoming a city,
Hmm.
but there's still, you can still see the pockets of a small town community
Hmm.
within Okotoks. Yeah, it's growing. It's just growing huge, but yeah.
What's the cake company there? It's that you go in there and it's immersed with drawings. It looks
94, take the cake.
yeah. I,
Yeah, it's great, the
it
experience, right? I've had a couple of meetings there, and I am so overstimulated with the things that are on the wall. I'm like, I don't know if I can ever have a meeting here again.
you need those dull colors around you. Yeah. Especially
Yes,
for
that's
us
exactly.
visual learners and stuff, like you really start getting stimulated with all this stuff going on. Yeah.
Yes, right? It's like, oh, they have a 94 clock in that picture. Did you see? Yeah,
There's a
it's
dog
great.
down there.
He's got a 94 on the collar.
I love it. How did the production company come around? Was that during the Story Hive and Tell Us, or was that after? And is there an acronym or a meaning behind that?
Hmm. So TCF4 Productions started back when we did our travel show, which was in 2012. I think we actually started the company in 2010, 11. But then, we put everything started through that. And it's so simple. At the time, there was just four of us. So it's the
Oh,
Clements family four.
oh, I like that.
Yeah, so that's it. It's real simple. Nothing grand. We just wanted a family business and we just wanted our kids to, if they ever wanted to, they could come and work with us or work, alongside us or take it over. And, over the years, both of them have worked for us in different capacities for like a one-off moment. So that's been great.
Oh, that's
And
fantastic.
our daughter-in-laws have actually worked for us as well. So that's been great. We really have been a
A
family
family
company.
business. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been really cool.
Do you do production work for, say, companies around Okotoks or Calgary that need your services as well, or is it just solely focused on in-house productions?
I would say mostly
Okay.
in-house. Uh, Anything that we have done has been word of mouth. We haven't solicited work uh, from any company. We're open to it,
Okay.
and yeah, we're open to it. We don't say no to unless it's a clearly it does not align with who we are or what our company does. We don't say no to things. We like to hear what the opportunity
Mhm.
is and then make the decision. So we have done, I think it's um 5 music videos.
That's
So I
pretty
think we've
cool.
done that for up and coming musicians, artists. One was we did two singers, a band, one solo musician, and we did spoken word
Hmm.
artist. So that was really cool. So
Okay.
that was great. We've also done some real estate videos, so
Yes.
that's been kind of
That's yeah.
cool. We've done our shows, of course, and Wheel Sharks. Yeah, it's just been great. Word just keeps getting out, and we're just really thankful for that.
When you look at the travel show, were there people that you were inspired by, like Anthony Bourdain or any of those individuals?
Oh, he was so great at what he did,
Yeah.
or still does to some degree.
Because he was the
I
guy,
like
right? He was that person, that
he was
character.
that person, and he just traveled all over, and I really like watching those shows that are from, you know, a few years ago,
Mhm.
before social media, before Instagram. I There is something about it because they had to work really
Mhm.
hard, to get the word out. They had to work really hard with their production team, with the network. Um, they didn't have YouTube. They just there's something that I really admire about how they, paved the path for us in those ways. Um, I can't think of the one guy right now.
Remember like
It's about
Johnny
film.
Carson or those folks?
Yes,
Larry
like I
King?
love, like they were so, and it is like I'm not that age group, but there was just something about them. Like they just, I just think they were just really authentic.
Mhm.
And they might have had good people around them. I'm assuming they had good people around them, but they had people that helped them, but they were just who they were, and they just worked on who they were and tried to improve themselves. They didn't have AI, they didn't
None
have
of this.
all these
None of
other
them.
tools.
Well, I think for the most part, they were who they were in person. That now we lack as individuals, or you'll see that
Mhm.
often. That there's this front or mask on social media, and then you can meet them in person. And like, oh, you're totally different than you carry yourself or the way you act, and it's interesting to see.
Honestly, I couldn't even imagine. I was like, who are you? And what happened to the guy on stage? And that has just resonated with me because I never want to be that person
Yeah.
where the stage and off stage, that it didn't match. And I know I do understand being in the spotlight and having a self-protective stance. Um, in some situations, I understand that, but I also you're gonna hear the same joke behind the scene from me as like on the camera. Like I just, I'm not gonna say those. The jokes are the same.
Well, they always say it's like the Japanese. They have three masks. They say the one mask is the one that we are around our strangers, our work, social
Mm,
media. Then there's this other mask that we are with our friends, our close friends, family. And then there's that true
mm.
mask that's what the one that we are with ourselves. So there's these layers that we have, and
Interesting. Yes.
they're all authentic in certain ways, but there's this fine balance, I think. And I think we've lost that third
Mm.
mask where you want to be vulnerable, but you have to feel like it's safe to be okay to talk.
Agreed.
Yeah. And most
Agreed.
oftentimes when you're out there, um, people do understand. We were talking about sobriety, same thing. When I was
Mm.
nervous to be judged, and you're welcomed with an open hug, and metaphorically speaking, in the
Right.
digital world. Yeah,
You're such a nice guy, Zach.
there's my mask coming off.
That's great. I'm gonna
Yeah,
remember that. Yeah, sometimes I am.
exactly. But that's being authentic. We have good days and we have bad days, and we have moments where we're just like, I need to be alone. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I
Eh,
really cherish those times to
Oh
be
yeah.
quiet.
What do you do in a time where there's so much noise today? What do you do to kind of take time for yourself with Bill or yourself? Let's just say that. You said 98% of the time, so I'm saying, yeah,
I know that 2% of the time we're
yeah,
apart. Walking is
yeah.
therapeutic for me.
Same.
It is absolutely therapeutic, and that's really important.
Mhm.
For me, I would say, uh, hands down, if I'm looking for some quiet, if I'm looking for, I just need to get lost, like within myself, and sort out the noise from outside so that I can process on the inside. Walking is it.
Mm.
And I can tell when I haven't taken enough time to do that. Bill will say, "Hey, hey, you should go for a walk. I'm like, I'm picking up what you're laying down. I'll go for a walk.
Taking that hike.
I know.
Yeah, there's
I'm
something about a
actually,
walk though. There is.
oh, it's it gets the endorphins
Mhm.
going. I mean, there's all the science behind it, but I I just like looking at nature and seeing what's out there and watching the ducks have their babies
Mhm.
and growing up because I don't walk the same path every day, but I would say at least once a week. And then I get to see, these animals that, still have their babies and they're growing and, all that. It sounds so simplistic, but it's healing for me on the inside. And uh, I actually because I am with people a lot for my job, which I absolutely love my job. I'm passionate about what I do. It is fantastic that I can't believe the gift that I get to do this. Uh, but then I come home and we're quiet. We're quiet a lot of times because I have to refuel
Yeah.
to be able to talk with people. And I want to be genuine when I talk and I want to care and I do care, but you can't give from an empty well. So, yeah.
It's so important. I mean, there's been moments in time where I would push that and try to go back to that empty well and revisit it. And there's nothing there anymore
Mm,
in your cup. And you
mm,
keep trying to
yes.
find any little droplet of sorts, but there's nothing. And I think
Mm,
when you're self aware of that and you start realizing that there is a sense of peace that you protect, it's your energy, isn't it? Like there's this
mm,
thing that you start cherishing more and more, like the quiet moments, the times where we're extroverts, but then we also need to that recharging. I realized after I stopped drinking that I'm an introvert in some ways. I don't know if I want to call it
mm,
those different titles, whatever it is, but you start realizing I like my own space. I like being with me
mhm,
now. I'm comfortable within my own skin. I think there's a beautiful moment in that, right? And we go back to the simple things we like doing as a young boy or a young girl. So, like if it's like you said, nature, looking at the ducks, looking at animals, and leaves,
mm.
whatever it is, it feels good to the soul, doesn't it? All the noise we were taught to chase and run after, it's all great, but there's something going back to the roots.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I love to do, and Bill will join me sometimes, is in the morning we just have coffee on the back deck and we just watch. We're early risers and we watch the sun come up over the homes.
So
And we
beautiful.
just sit there and we have coffee and we sit on our in our little bistro set under our gazebo and we just it's quiet and it's beautiful and it's lush and it's green, right? Like it's the trees are beautiful and the flowers and anyways, it's a great way to wake up in the morning and we're just quiet. We're just quiet with each other.
We actually connected because of Darrel Janz, the late and great Darrel Janz.
You were amazing to connect with me over that. That was very, very special that you did that. So thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. What did you feel that resonated with you in that moment?
With you connecting with me, what I loved is that you weren't afraid to reach out and say, "Hey, like I have this interview." First of all, you said you were sorry and sent condolences. And that was just so very kind. And you weren't asking for anything back. And that um, there are a few people that I could name right
Mm-hmm.
now that did that, that really, they just reached out because they just wanted to let us know we weren't alone. So whether it was a text, whether it was a
Mm-hmm.
phone call, whether it was an email, whether it was somebody dropping a meal off at my door, which all those things happened, it meant more than what people really knew. So it was yeah, those are things that I don't forget.
It's, if someone's done that for you, I think it's important we pass that on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I've fallen short in those areas, you know?
Mhm.
And it's things that I want to try to improve and encourage. At least be one of the first ones to say you're sorry
Mhm.
that they've lost someone. Not everybody can take a meal, not everybody
Yeah.
knows how to bake, not everybody wants to receive baking because of allergies or whatever. But I think uh, it's a rarity to have somebody show that type of love and support when somebody passes or you're grieving in a difficult situation. Yeah.
For the listeners, how do legacy makers come around? And who is the late and great Darrel Janz to you and to all of us?
Yeah. So legacy makers. So um, I can give you timeline because it was so significant. So it was like a September, I think it was like 3 years ago.
I just love the branding and oh, you just nailed it. Just nailed it. I'm like, this is amazing. I was like, yes. And
Really
this is
like
all from
you.
Alberta. Oh, that was cool. Made me happy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I took a chance and I pitched it to Yes TV. I just went on I just went on their website and I'm like, who should I pitch this to? Like I just think that there's really what really what I was doing was I was pitching our other shows, hoping I could get a license deal from them. That was the goal. And and then I said, it'd be kind of great to do a TV, like I'd love to do a talk show or we could do a talk show, whatever. And the first response was the automated response that the program director at the time was off on holidays. And I'm like, great, I'm never going to hear from them.
Exactly.
And the CEO actually responded the very next morning and said, hey, we got to get a meeting on the calendar because I think you've got something here. So it took about 2 months. We had our next meeting. They're like, hey, we're really interested in what's happening and what you've got to offer us. And they were in that moment where they were looking for content of something specific. We're like, let's meet in the new year.
Mhm.
So we did the end of January, had a Zoom call, and they're like, hey, we're really interested in the talk show idea. Could you give us an official pitch in the next 2 weeks? And we're like, yeah, of course. And we had known Darrel. We worked with Darrel in 2017 when we were producers of Hope 150, which was a Christian outdoor music festival
Okay.
thing that happened around the 150th birthday
Okay.
Canada
Yeah.
in Calgary. Yeah. And so we were the producers of that with Jason Caldwell. And we met Darrel through then. And we just kind of kept in touch, like just a little bit here and there. And to be honest, because I didn't grow up in Calgary, I didn't understand truly who he was. But everybody was like, oh,
Icon, legend. Yeah.
right? And I was like, he's just a really nice guy.
But
He was
doesn't
just
that
a
that's the
really
legend of
nice
him.
guy.
That's the icon in him. It's because it's who he is, not what he did or I mean all that is great, but who he is as a person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or was,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have a picture I took of Bill and Darrel that day. And I was like, when I look back and I'm like, we're actually working together now. Like I couldn't have planned that. And so I had reached out to him before during in the jumpsuit with Jacqueline and just asked if he would mentor me a little bit with hosting and shows and TV and he's like, yeah, absolutely. So he came out to our house a couple of times and we met a couple of times and we just continued to grow this really great relationship. And he just was such a great father figure to me in that regard. He was a mentor and but he just was really kind to me and my father had already passed and so that it was just a really great nobody can replace your parents but he was just really great in that
Yeah.
moment for me and And then, so we had asked him, hey, if we ended up doing a show, would you be interested in co-hosting with me? And he goes, yeah, I think I would. We're like, great. So we put together this pitch and we said, Darrel, like, would you attach your name to it? And he goes, yeah, I like the concept. I think that would
Yeah.
be really good. So we attached him and we put the proposal together. We sent it in. They, the network was like, get them on the phone. Let's set up this meeting. We have got to talk to them about this. So they didn't realize who Darrel was until they Googled him. So it was great. Like once they figured out who he and I were together and what was happening, they're like, oh, fantastic. And with Bill as the director and one of the producers, fantastic. Like that, I just think it's going to be a really good team. So they said, yep, we want it. We want it. So that was the end of February. We were taping the end of April and it premiered June 19th. So in like within 4 months, we
And
had put
what
this
year
pitch
was
together.
this? This was what year? This is 2023 or 22?
23,
23, yeah.
2023.
Wow.
Yeah, because we did 2 seasons last year. Yeah. And it was great. You know, he really helped to establish the show with
Mhm.
me and with Bill, and I just was so grateful to him. We had so much fun just sitting beside each other, and you know, he was a broad he was an you know, he was a news anchor, like that's who he was, and I wasn't, and so we just made a great team
Yeah.
that way, and yeah, it was really very fun. You know, what I said at the ooh, sorry about that. We'll go back. He was just really fun. And what I said at the memorial service he just did whatever we asked him to do. He was just all in. He's like, yeah, you want me to do that? Okay, I'll do that. Oh, you want me to go on the radio? Okay, I'll do that. Oh, you want me to do this? Okay, I'll do that. Like it just, he loved what he was doing and we loved working with him. So our relationship was a little bit complex, only in the sense that he was an employee of ours. He was my co-host, and he was just such a sweet, dear friend of mine. Um, so, you know, it kind of depended on the
Mhm.
hat, you know, for what we were talking about. But uh yeah, when we ended up taping the last 10 episodes for season 3 without him, my couch was pretty lonely. It was
Yeah.
pretty lonely.
Could only imagine the homage, right? But you always know he's with you and as your mentor, as your
Yeah.
friend. Yeah. What were some of
Yeah.
the lessons that you learned from him that maybe the listeners can now take from you to what they're doing in their life?
I don't know how this really relates to our listeners, but one thing he just really was like, don't say anything. It's always a hot mic. Don't say anything you don't want repeated somewhere else. It's always a hot mic. And there's enough people that are around, even if the mic isn't on, it's always a hot mic. So you don't know who's listening. You don't know who's taking notes or who's taking photos. He's like, just be kind. Just be nice. You know, just remember if you don't want it out there, don't say it in public. You know, just be careful. Be true to who you are. You know, his faith was very strong and we really connected over that because our faith was the same and um I I really, really liked making him laugh. And I think that's part of it too, is just laugh. Just laugh. Don't take it all so seriously. Like that was one thing he learned, and over his life and one of the things that he and I talked about several times was when somebody compliments you, don't let it go to your head. And when somebody criticizes you, don't let it go to your heart. Try somehow in there to have a balance. Don't think you're greater than you are. Uh, you know, be careful how you stand
Hmm.
in case you fall, which happens to everybody if you're not careful, you know. It was all those little things that we talked about, that we worked with. He would always on the couch too, he would say, this is a better way that you might want to say it. Let's try that. And I was like, great, let's try that. Um, yeah, yeah, I loved working with him.
I
It's
think
really a
he's a
sweet moment in
Mennonite
time.
theologian. Yes,
Yeah,
right?
he's
Yeah.
Mennonite.
Yeah.
Yes.
He talked
Yeah.
about that. Uh, Incredible man, just to give the time and, tell his story. And I think he was a man of service,
Mm,
something we don't see often anymore, especially in today's time.
yeah.
It's such a fast-paced world, but Darrel was able to give so much back. So incredible man, and I love the
Mm.
homage that you're representing. You're sharing his light through you and everything you do now. So thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we're so happy with the show. We're really happy how it started. We've really grown over the 3 seasons, heading into season 4. We're really excited about that. We have almost all of our guests secured, so we're just waiting on a couple more. But what's really exciting is we're going to hit our 100th episode in season 4, which is a big deal in TV.
100 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had just finished, we just wrapped, and then he passed on November 1st, I think it was. Yeah.
Well,
Or
he's always with
2nd.
you, right? In spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely he is. Actually on my page on YouTube, I'm putting out over the next few weeks I've got some reels of just him and I behind the scenes, some
I love it.
bloopers, some moments, and yeah, so it's
Yeah.
it's fun. Like there are some really great
Yeah.
moments. And actually his birthday is this weekend.
Oh.
And so in memory on the Legacy page, Legacy Makers on Instagram, we're putting out just a couple of different things to just honor him.
Well, he
Yeah.
was a gem of a human, so yeah, absolutely.
Oh, thanks, Zach.
Before we get going, how can someone learn more about Legacy Makers? Where do they watch it? How do they get Yes TV?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I appreciate you allowing me to, put the plug in there. So thank you very much.
you're very welcome.
So Yes TV has their own app, so you
Oh,
can download it for free. It takes 54 seconds. We actually had a guest do that and time it for us. So it was like incredible. I'm like, really? And he goes, really? I've actually had some of my people do it for me as well. So 54
okay.
seconds. So you download the free Yes TV app, you put in your information, which is very name,
Hmm.
email, and then you're right in there. You can just search for Legacy Makers and it comes up and you can start watching any episode. All 3 seasons are there.
That's
And
amazing.
it's on cable TV, linear TV as well.
Will the 100th episode be on this fourth season?
It will
It's
be.
exciting. 100
It will
episodes.
be, and we're really excited about it. Yep, we just secured our guest for the 100th episode, and it's going to be great.
You never hear about that in TV, especially Canadian TV. So this is incredible.
Right? That's what we thought. So, yeah, so we're just brainstorming about how we want to celebrate that. So, yeah, I don't know exactly what we're going to do, but I know that we're working with the network on that because we want to celebrate
Sure.
all the goodness that has come out of Legacy Makers. Hey, do you want to know something that's really cool that's come out of Legacy Makers?
What's going on?
I don't know. I didn't give you much of a way to say no. But one of our guests, somebody was watching his episode and reached out to him and said, "Hey, I like what you said. Would you be willing to read my book and just give me like whatever
Mhm.
little blurb about the book?" And he's like, "Yeah, absolutely, no problem." And so he did. And then she's like, I actually really like your story and what you're doing and who you are. I want you to come to Hong Kong with me, over to Asia. I'm going to set up opportunities in schools for you to go around and tell your story and encourage the kids over there. Are you interested? And he's like, absolutely, I am.
All
And
from
so
Legacy
now he's
Makers?
Because they found him on Legacy Makers.
That's connection. That's what it's about. Bringing people
Isn't
together.
it?
Oh, love that.
I'm like, it's like everybody's a success that comes on our show, but I'm just like, that's so awesome. Like, it's just such a it really makes me feel like, yep, paying it forward, paying it forward, paying it forward.
Well, you got
So,
to, I mean, if you're doing better, you got to be that flare, is what I say. And we've all been in
yeah.
that night sky of darkness, whatever it is for us.
Mhm.
So if you're out of there and you're better today, pass that baton on to your fellow person. We all
Yes.
we all can learn from each other, take care of each other, and be there for each other. And I think with the grace of God and hope and faith and all of it, just it's
Mm.
beautiful, isn't it, to come together?
I love it. I love it. Yeah, so that's what's really
Yeah,
exciting about
I love
Legacy
it.
Maker.
Awesome.
Oh.
Well, thank you so much for this, Jacqueline. I appreciate your time.